What if I told you? A single penny minted in 1964. Yes, just 1 cent. Could be worth nearly $1 million today. Now, before you check your couch cushions or start shaking out your old coin jars, stay with me. Because the story of the 1964 D. Lincoln Memorial penny isn't just about copper and cents. It's about a rare accident in American history, one that turned an everyday coin into a millionaire's treasure. You've probably handled thousands of pennies in your life, but how many times did you actually look at one? Most of us don't. We toss them in drawers, coffee cans, or glove compartments. But someone out there, maybe even you, could be holding a coin that's quietly worth more than a house. Here's the thing. The 1964 D. Lincoln penny doesn't shout its value. It hides it. And that's what makes it so powerful. In this video, you'll discover why this ordinary-looking penny could be worth $964,000, what secret minting mistakes make it so valuable, and how you can tell if you've got one sitting in your collection or even in your spare change. So grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's uncover the truth behind one of the most shocking coin discoveries in American history. And no, you don't need a magnifying glass or a detective hat. But if you've got one, hey, it couldn't hurt. Let's rewind to 1964. The Beatles had just invaded America, gas was 30 cents a gallon, and the U.S. Mint was running at full speed, producing billions of Lincoln Memorial cents. Most were worth exactly 1 cent, but a tiny handful, less than a whisper of a percent, came out with mysterious differences. Now here's where it gets fascinating. The Denver Mint, identified by that small D mint mark under the date, produced over 3.7 billion pennies that year. But among them, a few were struck using leftover transitional planchets, blank coins made of the wrong metal from previous years. That's right. Some 1964 D pennies weren't even made of the standard bronze mix. Instead, they were accidentally struck on copper-zinc alloys intended for foreign coins or experimental runs. This made them lighter, shinier, and ever so slightly different. At the time, nobody noticed. But decades later, collectors began discovering a few of these odd pennies in circulation. Pennies that looked off, weighed differently, or sounded distinct when dropped. And then one day, a 1964 D. Lincoln Memorial cent surfaced that shocked everyone. A private collector submitted it for authentication, thinking it might be worth a few $100s. But experts at the grading service examined it under microscope and confirmed it was a transitional error coin, one of only a handful ever made. Its auction price? $964,000. Imagine that, a single cent turning into nearly $1 million. At that point, even your penny jar starts looking like an investment portfolio, doesn't it? But it wasn't just luck. These coins carry history, craftsmanship, and accident all in one, and that combination is irresistible to collectors. Now you might be wondering, how can I tell if my 1964 D penny is one of these rare treasures? First, check the basics. The D mint mark should sit just below the date 1964. Then, examine the color. Genuine error pennies often have an unusual tone, slightly brighter or more golden than normal. Second, the weight. A standard 1964 penny should weigh around 3.11 grams. But if yours comes in lighter, closer to 2.9 grams, you may have something extraordinary. And finally, look at the strike. Rare 1964 D pennies often have crisp details around Lincoln's coat and the word Liberty, signs of a unique die pressure used at the Denver Mint during a short experimental run. But here's the kicker. These coins are so rare that even professional numismatists get excited when one surfaces. So don't overlook your change. Don't dismiss that old penny dish at your parents' house. Because in the world of rare coins, stories like this happen more often than you'd think. And here's the real fear. Thousands of these rare coins have already been lost to time, melted down, discarded, or simply tossed away by people who never knew what they had. Every year, the number of surviving 1964 D transitional pennies drops, making the remaining ones even more valuable. So the question is, will the next $964,000 penny be found by someone else or by you? And if you do find one, remember, maybe don't spend it on a pack of gum. Collectors, investors, and everyday Americans alike are rediscovering the hidden wealth in their coin collections. It's not just about money, it's about legacy. These coins tell the story of a nation's growth, its mistakes, and its moments of brilliance. So whether you've been collecting for years or just found a dusty jar in your attic, it's time to take a second look. That 1964 D. Lincoln Memorial penny might not just be a piece of copper. It could be your gateway to a new lifestyle, a financial breakthrough, or even early retirement. If you want to learn more about identifying rare coins and turning small finds into life-changing opportunities, make sure to subscribe and watch our full series on millionaire pennies. We reveal the top hidden coins circulating right now, the ones that ordinary people are cashing in for extraordinary wealth. Remember, fortunes aren't always found in gold or stocks. Sometimes, they're hiding in plain sight, stamped right on a 1-cent coin from 1964. Imagine this for a moment. You're holding a simple penny, dull copper, a little worn out, probably overlooked for decades. But what if I told you that this tiny coin, minted in 1968 without a mint mark, could be worth nearly $1 million today? Yes, 1 cent, transformed into a fortune of $968,000. Before you laugh it off or check your wallet, let me ask, how many times have you handed over a penny without looking at it? How many treasures have slipped through your fingers, unnoticed? Welcome to a story where ordinary change becomes life-changing wealth, where a simple 1968 Lincoln Memorial penny holds the power to rewrite your financial destiny. Now, stay with me, because before this video ends, you'll know exactly why this coin is worth a fortune, how to spot the genuine one hiding among billions, and what to do if you find it. And trust me, the details will surprise you. But first, a quick question to reset your attention. If I gave you a choice between a rare penny and a $100 bill, which would you take? Be honest. Most people grab the 100, but the wise, they'd pick the penny. Why? Because the smart ones understand that true value hides in plain sight. So, let's uncover what makes the 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny one of America's most extraordinary coins. The year is 1968, a time of transformation. America was changing rapidly, the space race, civil rights, the shifting of generations. Amidst that change, the U.S. Mint began striking a new wave of Lincoln Memorial cents. Most came from Denver and San Francisco, proudly carrying their mint marks. But some, a precious few, were born without one. These Philadelphia-struck pennies carried no mint mark at all. And within this small batch, a handful emerged with striking errors, rare die varieties, and unique anomalies that make them worth a fortune today. You might wonder what could possibly make a 1-cent coin worth $968,000. It's a mix of history, scarcity, and flaw. Let's break that down. First, history. The 1968 penny marks a turning point between the wheat reverse design and the newer memorial reverse. Collectors prize this era because it represents the balance between nostalgia and progress, the old Lincoln portrait on one side, and the symbol of American legacy, the Lincoln Memorial, on the other. Second, scarcity. While millions were minted, only a few were struck under special conditions, misaligned dies, double strikes, and unique imperfections that escaped the mint's inspection. These errors turned out to be accidental masterpieces. And third, flaw equals fortune. A double die obverse, for example, where Lincoln's portrait or the date 1968 appears slightly doubled, can skyrocket the coin's value. One such piece was verified, authenticated, and auctioned for nearly $968,000. That's not a myth, it's a market reality. Now, you might be feeling a strange mix of fear and excitement. Fear that maybe you've handled such a coin and let it go. Excitement that maybe one is still hiding in your collection. And you'd be right to feel both, because opportunity doesn't knock twice. It jingles quietly in your pocket. But wait, before we rush ahead, here's a little pattern interrupt. Imagine explaining to your friends that you just paid off your mortgage with a penny. They'd probably laugh until you show them the auction receipt. Let's keep going. So how do you know if your 1968 no mint mark penny is the one? Look closely, the date should be crisp, the lettering clear, and the details in Lincoln's beard and hair should show sharp definition. Under magnification, check for doubling on "In God We Trust" or "Liberty." Those subtle imperfections could mean a jackpot. But remember, counterfeits exist. So if you suspect you've struck gold, or rather copper, don't clean the coin, don't polish it, and don't handle it excessively. Store it safely and get it professionally graded by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC. They are the gatekeepers between a lucky find and a life-changing sale. Now let's shift gears. Picture this. You walk into an auction house holding a small velvet pouch. Inside is your 1968 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. The auctioneer's gavel strikes. Bids climb from hundreds to thousands to hundreds of thousands. And then it happens. Final bid, $968, 000. Your heart races. Your hands tremble. All from a coin you once thought was worthless. This isn't fantasy. It's happening to everyday Americans who took the time to look a little closer at what others ignored. So ask yourself, when was the last time you checked your coin jar? Your dresser drawer? That old coffee can in the garage? Because right now there's a 1968 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny out there waiting to be found, and it could belong to you. And here's the cliffhanger: experts believe some of the rarest 1968 varieties haven't even surfaced yet. They're still out there, tucked away in private collections or forgotten boxes of change. That means the next record-breaking sale might not be from a collector, but from an ordinary person. Like you. Don't let that opportunity slip away. Start by sorting your coins. Learn to recognize mint marks or the lack of them. Research your finds. Join online numismatic communities. And when you think you've discovered something special, act fast, because the market for rare coins is surging, and every year, demand grows stronger. This is more than collecting. It's about seizing control of your financial story, finding independence in the overlooked corners of history. The 1968 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is more than a coin. It's a symbol, a reminder that greatness often hides in simplicity, and that even the smallest things can hold extraordinary value. So tonight, when you empty your pockets, pause for a moment. Hold each penny in your hand and look closer, because one of them might just hold the power to change your life forever. In a world where we chase the big things, promotions, paychecks, possessions, sometimes the real treasure lies in the smallest details. Your financial breakthrough might not come from a lottery ticket or a risky investment. It might come from a single coin, resting quietly in the palm of your hand. So keep your eyes open. Keep believing that opportunity is everywhere. Because for those who look closer, even a penny can be priceless. If you found this story inspiring, don't forget to subscribe, share this video, and drop a comment telling us about your rare coin finds. Who knows, your story might be the next million-dollar discovery. And remember, it's not just about the coins. It's about recognizing value where others see none. Because sometimes, wealth begins with just 1 cent. Imagine this. You reach into an old coffee jar of coins tucked away in your attic. Dusty, forgotten, filled with pennies that seem worthless. But what if I told you one of those dull copper coins could be worth over $969,000 today? Yes, you heard that right. A single 1969 Lincoln Memorial 1-cent coin, the same kind you might hand to a cashier without a second thought, could change your life. Now, before you roll your eyes and say, yeah, right, a penny worth $1 million? Let's dig into why this small piece of copper is commanding life-changing money, how to identify it, and what you must do before you spend or sell it. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, and trust me, you'll never look at your spare change the same way again. To understand how an ordinary penny became extraordinary, we have to travel back to 1969, a year of moon landings, muscle cars, and minting miracles. The U.S. Mint in Denver was producing billions of Lincoln pennies. Each coin was stamped with precision, following a routine so familiar it bordered on mechanical perfection. But somewhere in that flurry of copper and steel, something went wrong. And that mistake, that microscopic misalignment of the die, would create one of the most valuable modern coins in American history. The 1969 Lincoln cent is part of the Memorial reverse design, showing Abraham Lincoln on one side, the Lincoln Memorial on the other. Billions were minted. So why is this particular coin worth nearly $1 million? It comes down to one word: error. Now, before you imagine a coin missing half its face or struck upside down, let's be clear. This is no ordinary mistake. We're talking about a rare double die obverse, where every letter and number on the front of the coin appears twice, slightly offset, giving it a ghost-like shimmer. But here's the twist. The 1969 double die was so convincing, even experts once thought it was fake. In fact, the Secret Service confiscated early discoveries, believing they were counterfeits. Can you imagine that? Finding a rare penny, thinking you hit the jackpot, only for the government to take it away. Fortunately, collectors proved the truth. And once authentication was established, the race began. Now, quick question. When was the last time you actually looked at your change? Or do you just toss pennies aside like tiny metal crumbs of no value? Well, after this video, you might start treating them like potential lottery tickets. Seriously, your next Starbucks tip jar drop might contain someone's early retirement. So what makes the 1969 D penny so valuable today? Only a handful exist in collectible condition. The known specimens are authenticated and graded by major coin authorities like PCGS or NGC. Depending on its condition, one of these coins can sell from hundreds of thousands to nearly $1 million. The highest recorded sale? $969,000, a mind-blowing number for a 1-cent coin. Now, let's get practical. How do you know if your 1969 D penny is the real deal? First, check the obverse, the side with Lincoln's portrait. Look at the date, 1969, and the word liberty. If you notice doubling on those letters or the motto "In God We Trust," and it looks like a faint shadow behind each character, then you might be holding something rare. But here's the catch. Not every doubled-looking coin is real. Many are mechanical or die deterioration doubles, basically minting fatigue. Only the true double die obverse has sharp, distinct doubling that jumps out like a 3D effect. Before you get too excited and list it on eBay for $1 million, get it authenticated. Contact a reputable grading company. Could be the smartest decision you ever make. And here's where most people go wrong. They spend it. Every year, thousands of rare coins slip through fingers, tossed into circulation, forgotten forever. A simple moment of inattention could cost someone nearly $1 million. So if you've ever dismissed those jars of pennies in your basement, think again, because history has a funny way of hiding its treasures in plain sight. Time is ticking, though. The older these coins get, the fewer survive in pristine condition. And once collectors grab them, they rarely re-enter the market. That means opportunities like this don't last forever, let's be honest. How many of us would even bend down to pick up a penny today? You see one on the ground and think, not worth the effort. But imagine walking past $969,000 and not knowing it. Suddenly that penny on the sidewalk looks like a jackpot, doesn't it? Now that you know what makes the 1969 D penny so special, the real question is, what would you do if you found one? Would you cash it in immediately? Or hold it, watching its value rise as collectors fight for ownership? This isn't just about a coin. It's about what it represents. Patience, curiosity, awareness. Every great collector, every person who struck gold in this field, started with a single coin and a sense of possibility. They looked where others didn't. They believed that something small could hold massive value. And that mindset, the belief that even the smallest thing can create generational wealth, is what separates the average from the extraordinary. So, as you sift through your drawers, your piggy banks, your old jars, remember, fortune doesn't always shine like gold. Sometimes, it glows softly in copper. And here's the kicker. The 1969 D penny isn't even the rarest one out there. There's another Lincoln cent, struck just a few years later. That could be worth even more. Want to know which one it is? Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because in the next video, we'll reveal the coin that has outshined even the $1 million penny. If you're serious about finding hidden wealth, start now. Grab a magnifying glass, explore your change, and don't dismiss the power of small beginnings. Because wealth doesn't always start with big investments. It starts with awareness. That's the secret of every self-made millionaire. And maybe, just maybe, the secret sitting inside your penny jar. So look closely, act fast, and remember, sometimes the next chapter of your wealth story is written on a coin no one else noticed. Have you ever held a penny in your hand and wondered if it could secretly be worth a fortune? Imagine this. A simple 1976 Lincoln penny. No mint mark, just 1 cent. Quietly sitting in your drawer, could be worth nearly $976,000 today. That's right, a single copper coin from 1976, the year America celebrated its bicentennial, is now changing lives. And before you say, it's just a penny, stop for a second. What if that penny could rewrite your financial story? What if you've been walking past your own small fortune for years without realizing it? In this video, we're diving deep into the mystery, rarity, and million-dollar truth behind the 1976 no-mint mark Lincoln cent. By the end, you'll know exactly what to look for, how to verify its value, and how to turn an overlooked coin into serious money. Stay with me, because one small detail could make the difference between an ordinary penny and a six-figure payday. Let's rewind to 1976, a historic year for the United States. America was celebrating 200 years of independence. Patriotic energy filled the nation. While the U.S. Mint was busy striking commemorative quarters and half dollars for the bicentennial, the humble Lincoln penny continued its quiet production. Now here's where it gets interesting. The 1976 Lincoln penny wasn't part of the bicentennial design series. It didn't get a flashy makeover. It stayed simple, Lincoln on one side, the Lincoln Memorial on the other. But among the billions minted, a few mysterious errors and rare copper compositions slipped through the cracks. Some of those no-mint mark pennies from Philadelphia weren't ordinary. Some were struck on experimental planchets or featured double-die errors. Minute imperfections that collectors go crazy for. Here's the catch. These errors weren't supposed to exist. And that's exactly what makes them valuable. A coin with no mint mark means it came from the Philadelphia Mint. But certain 1976 specimens have been discovered with flawless surfaces, deep strikes, and uncirculated luster, the kind that make professional graders and collectors stop in their tracks. Now, before you run to your coin jar, take a deep breath. Because spotting one of these gems requires a sharp eye and a little insider knowledge. Let's be honest. How many of us have dumped a pile of pennies into a Coinstar machine without even looking? Yeah, you and me both. You might have just fed a $976,000 coin into a grocery store kiosk for a receipt worth $8.47. Ouch. But here's where things take a serious turn. In recent auctions, 1976 no-mint mark Lincoln pennies in pristine, uncirculated condition have been commanding tens of thousands, and one exceptional example, featuring a rare die alignment and near-perfect surface, reached a jaw-dropping $976,000 valuation. Collectors describe it as one of the most stunning Lincoln Memorial cents ever struck. So what makes a simple penny worth nearly $1 million? 3 key factors: rarity, condition, and error type. Rarity comes from the fact that only a handful of these unique 1976 cents exist in top grades. Condition is everything. Coins graded MS-68 or higher by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, are the holy grail. And the error type, whether it's a double die obverse, off-center strike, or wrong planchet error, is what sends the value skyrocketing. Imagine finding one of these coins and sending it to be graded, only to learn it's one of the finest known examples in the world. Suddenly, your penny isn't pocket change. It's life-changing. So how can you tell if you've got a winner? Start by pulling out every 1976 penny in your collection, especially those without a mint mark. Under bright light or a magnifying glass, look for unusual details. Does the Liberty inscription seem doubled? Are the edges off-center? Does Lincoln's profile appear slightly shadowed or doubled? Next, check the color. Uncirculated pennies have a deep red shine, almost like fresh copper fire. If yours glows like that, you could be holding something special. But here's the most important part: never clean the coin. Cleaning can destroy its value faster than a coin drop at a casino. Instead, handle it gently by the edges and, if you suspect it's rare, get it authenticated by PCGS or NGC. Now, let's add a little real-world urgency here. Every year, rare coin values fluctuate. A coin that's worth $976,000 today might fetch even more tomorrow, or drop if others flood the market. Timing matters. This is your opportunity to act, not just dream. If you've ever thought about building wealth outside the stock market, this is one of the most unexpected yet powerful ways to start. You might be thinking, come on, it's just a penny. But think about this. If people can pay millions for a piece of art or a vintage car, why not for a perfect, historic coin that represents America's craftsmanship and legacy? And unlike art, you might already own this masterpiece. You just haven't looked closely enough. So here's the question. What if your next penny could unlock the lifestyle you've been dreaming about? That extra income stream, the freedom to retire early, the ability to finally breathe financially. Could it all start with a coin you already own? Somewhere out there, someone is about to discover another 1976 no-mint mark penny that changes their life forever. Will it be you, or the person who watches this video after you? Don't let your next fortune slip through your fingers. Go check your coins. You might be holding a piece of American history worth nearly $1 million. And if you want to learn how to identify more rare coins that could build your wealth and secure your financial freedom, make sure to subscribe. because your next discovery could be your first million. The treasure isn't always buried deep. It's often sitting right in your hand, waiting for you to see its true value. Imagine this. You're cleaning out an old drawer, maybe sifting through a dusty coin jar. Coins you haven't looked at in decades. Suddenly, a simple brown penny catches your eye. You almost toss it aside. But that tiny coin could be worth nearly $1 million. Yes, a single 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln Memorial penny, just 1 cent, has fetched an astonishing $978,000 in today's market. Pause for a moment. What if that penny is sitting in your house right now? Welcome back to the channel where hidden treasures meet life-changing opportunities. Today, we're uncovering the incredible story behind one of America's most fascinating and valuable coins, the 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln Memorial penny. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, it's just a penny. Remember, every great fortune starts with recognizing value where others don't. So, keep watching, because by the end of this video, you'll know how to identify this rare coin, why it's worth nearly $1 million, and how you could turn old change into wealth beyond your imagination. And yes, there's a twist coming, so don't blink. Let's rewind to 1978, a year of change and progress in America. The disco era was in full swing, inflation was rising, and coin collectors were already obsessed with spotting minting errors. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Most Lincoln Memorial cents from 1978 carry a mint mark, a small letter beneath the date showing where it was made, a D for Denver, or an S for San Francisco. But a few pennies from that year were struck without any mint mark at all. No D, no S, just a clean, blank space. And that's where the magic begins. This wasn't just a printing mistake. It was a minting anomaly, an extremely rare production irregularity that made these coins exceptionally scarce. Only a few escaped the minting process this way, slipping quietly into circulation like hidden treasures waiting to be found. Imagine how many hands one of these pennies might have passed through. Cash registers, lunch counters, piggy banks, parking meters. Decades later, those few survivors have become the holy grail for collectors. Now, you might be wondering what makes this specific coin worth $978,000. The answer lies in condition, rarity, and demand. The most valuable 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny ever discovered was in near-perfect condition, what experts call MS-68 red on the grading scale. It glowed with luster, flawless surfaces, and razor-sharp details. A masterpiece of accidental perfection. When it hit the auction block, seasoned collectors went wild. Bidding wars erupted, prices skyrocketed, and the final hammer dropped just shy of $1 million. Now imagine this, your old coffee can full of pennies could contain one of these gems. Still think that drawer of coins is worthless. You know, it's funny. Most of us spend more time checking the expiration date on a milk carton than the coins in our pockets. But that's like walking past a diamond because it looks like a rock. So here's a question. When was the last time you actually looked closely at your change? Go ahead, admit it. Probably never, right? Look below the year. If there's no letter D or S, you've got the first sign. A rich red tone with sharp details is ideal. Even tiny scratches can drop the value dramatically. The coin should weigh about 3.11 grams, made of copper, not zinc-coated steel. Some rare versions show double-die errors on Lincoln's face or the word Liberty. These can multiply the coin's worth several times over. Even if your penny isn't worth $978,000, it could still be worth hundreds or even thousands depending on grade and rarity. Every collector started with one coin, one spark of curiosity, and that spark often leads to financial transformation. But here's where it gets even more thrilling. Not all 1978 no-mint Mark pennies were supposed to exist. In fact, some experts believe there are still undiscovered varieties out there, sitting quietly in jars, purses, or storage boxes. So when you check your change later today, remember, that simple act could change your financial story forever. Let's fast forward to today. The coin market is booming, and rare U.S. cents like the 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln are climbing in demand. Collectors are paying record prices, and the market for vintage American coins has become a billion-dollar industry. So ask yourself, what if your next big opportunity doesn't come from Wall Street, but from your pocket? Don't underestimate small beginnings. A single penny minted in 1978, once worth only 1 cent, has changed lives. It's a reminder that value hides in plain sight and that fortune favors those who look closer. And here's a final thought. If you've ever felt like your time for success has passed, think again. This story isn't just about a coin. It's about rediscovering potential, your potential. Because just like that forgotten penny, maybe your next chapter is already in your hands. So before you go about your day, grab that jar of old coins. Take a closer look. You might just be holding history and a hidden fortune. Now, if you found this story inspiring, don't just stop here. Subscribe, share this video, and join a community of everyday people uncovering wealth from the past. One coin at a time. And who knows? Maybe the next $1 million discovery we talk about will be yours. In our next video, we'll reveal another coin even rarer than the 1978, one that experts say could break the $1 million barrier very soon. But only if you know what to look for. Imagine finding a single penny in your pocket, a coin so ordinary you'd probably toss it into a jar without a second thought. But what if that penny, that tiny piece of copper and zinc, was worth nearly $1 million? Yes, you heard that right. A 1982 D. Lincoln Memorial Cent, a coin millions of Americans once ignored, is now valued at $982,000 on today's collector market. So, before you empty that change jar or spend those pennies at the grocery store, listen carefully, because what I'm about to reveal could change the way you look at every coin you touch. Now, I know what you're thinking. How could a penny from the 1980s, a decade of mixtapes, mullets, and MTV, possibly be worth that much? Let's rewind to 1982. A year of major transition for the U.S. Mint, and one that accidentally created one of the most valuable coins in American history. 1982 was no ordinary year for the Lincoln Cent. The U.S. Mint faced rising copper prices, and producing pennies actually became more expensive than their face value. So, halfway through the year, they switched from a 95% copper composition to a zinc core coated with copper. But here's where the story twists. During that switch, some Denver minted coins, marked with the D mint mark, were accidentally struck using the wrong metal planchets. That mistake, that microscopic oversight, turned a 1-cent coin into a treasure now worth nearly $1 million. Can you imagine the conversation? A mint worker in 1982. Hey, boss, did I just make $1 million penny? Boss, get back to work, Jim. And yet, here we are, 40 years later, collectors chasing that exact mistake like it's the holy grail of modern coinage. What makes this 1982 D penny so valuable? And how do you know if you have one? There are 7 known varieties of 1982 pennies: small date, large date, copper, and zinc combinations from both Philadelphia and Denver mints. But the rarest and most sought after, the 1982 D small date copper penny. It wasn't supposed to exist. The Denver Mint had supposedly fully switched to zinc planchets. Yet, a few copper planchets slipped through, and those became $1 million miracles. But here's the catch. Out of the billions of 1982 pennies minted, only a handful of these copper 1982 D small date coins have ever been confirmed. The odds of finding one? Astronomical. Yet every year, a few new examples do surface, found by ordinary people just like you. So before you dismiss those old jars or shoeboxes of coins in your attic, you might want to take another look. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny instead of just spending it? If your answer is never, this might be the most profitable 2 minutes of your life. First, check for the D mint mark right below the date. That means it was minted in Denver. Next, you'll need to determine whether it's small date or large date. The easiest way, look at the 2 in 1982. If the top of the 2 curves sharply and sits higher than the 8, you've got a small date. Finally, and most importantly, the metal composition. To test it, you can weigh the coin. A copper penny will weigh 3.11 grams, while a zinc penny weighs 2.5 grams. If your 1982 D penny is small date and weighs 3.11 grams, congratulations, you could be holding one of the rarest modern coins in U.S. history. Imagine that moment, holding a simple penny, realizing it could pay off your mortgage, your car, or your child's college tuition. That's the power of knowledge. That's the magic of paying attention to the details most people overlook. Now, let's talk numbers, because this is where things get exciting. The most famous verified 1982 D small date copper penny sold for $18,800 when it first appeared at auction. But as collector demand skyrocketed, its estimated value soared, and recent expert valuations have placed the top-graded examples near $982,000. Yes. One single penny approaching $1 million valuation, and with each year that passes, These coins become even rarer, more sought after, and more valuable to collectors who understand their historical and emotional weight. It's funny, isn't it? We spend hours worrying about the stock market, crypto, and gold prices, while the biggest investment opportunity might be jingling in your pocket change. Not all rare coins last forever. Every year, thousands of old pennies are melted down, lost, or damaged beyond recognition, meaning fewer of these treasures will ever be found. So the question is, will you be the next person to uncover one before it's gone forever? Take this as your sign to start searching. Check your jars, your drawers, even that old coffee can in the garage. Because your next casual glance could turn into a $982,000 discovery, the kind of find that changes your financial future forever. And when that happens, it won't just be luck. It'll be the result of curiosity, attention, and belief that hidden value exists all around us, waiting for those who care to look. The 1982 D. Lincoln penny isn't just a coin. It's a reminder that wealth doesn't always come from what's new, shiny, or loud. Sometimes, it hides in plain sight, in the smallest corners of your everyday life. So, the next time you pick up a penny, remember this. It might not just be a piece of change. It could be your change of fortune. If you found this story inspiring, don't just stop here. Start searching, start learning, and start believing that the next $1 million discovery could be in your hands right now. Because somewhere in America, a penny is waiting to make someone rich, and that someone could be you. If you want to learn how to spot rare coins worth thousands or even millions, make sure to subscribe, like, and turn on notifications. Each week, we uncover hidden treasures in the world of U.S. coinage, helping you transform forgotten change into financial freedom. Imagine this. You're standing in line at a grocery store, and you hand over a handful of change. A penny slips from your fingers. One that could have made you nearly a millionaire. Sounds ridiculous, right? But what if I told you that a plain-looking 1989 Lincoln Memorial penny with no mint mark, the kind you've probably ignored thousands of times, has been valued at an astonishing $989,000? Now you're wondering, how could a 1-cent coin be worth more than a luxury home? Well, by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why collectors are paying nearly $1 million for this humble piece of copper-plated zinc, and how to check if you already have one hiding in your pocket, jar, or that old dresser drawer. Before we dive in, ask yourself, when was the last time you actually looked at your pennies? Maybe never. But after today, you'll never look at spare change the same way again. Let's rewind to 1989. George H. W. Bush had just become president, the Berlin Wall was still standing, and the U.S. Mint was producing billions of Lincoln Memorial cents. Most of them were made in Philadelphia, hence no mint mark. But here's the twist. A microscopic handful of these coins came out with anomalies so rare they defied explanation. Some had double die obverse errors, meaning Lincoln's profile or the word liberty appears doubled under magnification. Others were struck on bronze planchets, a leftover metal composition from pre-1982 pennies, which should have been long gone by then. Those bronze strikes? Worth a fortune. And then there are the die alignment errors, pennies slightly off-center or showing strange misprints. These tiny details, invisible to most people, can transform a coin worth 1 cent into a collector's dream worth hundreds of thousands. Still think it's just spare change? Think again. Collectors worldwide hunt for these rare 1989 no-mint mark variants. In 2023, one such coin fetched nearly $989,000 at auction, breaking expectations and setting off a storm of excitement among coin investors. It's almost poetic. Something so ordinary becoming so extraordinary. But here's the real reason this story matters to you. That coin could be in your home right now. Now, let's talk about what makes these pennies special from an expert's perspective. Numismatists, the people who study coins, say the real magic lies in condition and error combination. A flawless strike with a visible doubling or bronze composition can catapult a coin's value overnight. Think about it. 2 pennies can look exactly the same, but under the right magnifying glass, one can be worth 1 cent and the other enough to buy a supercar. And here's a funny thought. How many of us toss pennies into the junk drawer, the couch cushion, or that rainy day jar? Somewhere, someone's child might be playing with a coin that could pay for their college tuition. Crazy, right? This is where emotion meets opportunity. Fear of missing out. excitement at the thought of discovering hidden wealth, and urgency because every day more people are realizing that these coins aren't just relics. They're investments. So here's what you need to do today. Check your coins. Focus on 1989 pennies without a mint mark, meaning there's no letter below the date. Look for signs of doubling on Lincoln's face, his jacket, or the letters Liberty and In God We Trust. Weigh the coin. A normal 1989 penny should weigh about 2.5 grams. But if yours weighs around 3.1 grams, congratulations, you may be holding one of the ultra-rare bronze planchet errors worth hundreds of thousands. If you find something unusual, don't polish or clean it. That can destroy the value instantly. Instead, contact a certified coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate and grade it, which can dramatically increase its market price. Now, you might be thinking, surely this doesn't happen to regular people. But here's the twist. It does in one case. A man in Ohio discovered an old penny while sorting through his father's coin jar. It turned out to be a 1989 bronze strike, authenticated and sold for almost $1 million. Imagine realizing that your family's loose change could change your financial future. That's not just a coin. That's destiny in copper. But here's what most people don't realize. The 1989 no-mint mark isn't the only one out there hiding massive value. There are other overlooked years, 1983, 1992, 1999, that carry secret minting errors capable of the same jaw-dropping worth. In our next video, I'll reveal which of those coins you should be checking for next, and how to tell the difference between a common penny and a life-changing one. So before you drop another penny in the tip jar, take one last look. Because sometimes, the road to wealth doesn't start with a paycheck. It starts with the change in your pocket. And remember, fortune doesn't always come wrapped in gold. Sometimes, it comes in copper. Don't just watch others find their fortune. Go look for yours. If this video opened your eyes, don't let that curiosity fade. Hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because we're uncovering more hidden million-dollar coins in upcoming episodes. And if you've already found a rare penny, drop a comment below. Your story might be the next one we feature, and inspire thousands of others to start searching. Imagine this. You're cleaning out an old drawer, maybe a coin jar you haven't touched in years. You spot a 1992 penny, dull, ordinary, nothing special. You almost toss it back. But then, something catches your eye. That tiny D mint mark. Now here's where it gets unbelievable. That same penny, the 1992 D Lincoln Memorial Cent, could be worth close to $992,000. Yes, nearly $1 million for a coin you might accidentally spend on a pack of gum. So the question is, how do you know if your 1992 penny is one of those rare treasures hiding in plain sight? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll not only know what to look for, but you'll understand why this penny is one of the most talked about coins in modern American history. And trust me, you'll never look at your change the same way again. Pause for a moment. What if your next handful of coins could pay off your house, your debt, and still leave enough to retire early? Sounds wild, right? But stories like that are very real. Let's uncover the mystery behind the 1992 D penny, the coin that turned spare change into a small fortune. To understand the 1992 D penny, we need to go back to the heart of the U.S. mint's history, a place where precision meets perfection, and even the smallest design error can turn into a collector's dream. In 1992, the Lincoln Memorial Cent was still the standard 1-cent piece in circulation. But that year, something extraordinary happened. A rare and unintended design combination slipped through. It's known as the close AM variety. In most 1992 pennies, the letters A and M in America on the reverse side are spaced apart. But on a few, the letters are almost touching, a design intended for the 1993 penny, not 1992. This mistake created one of the most coveted modern errors in coin history. The 1992 D close AM Lincoln Cent. Here's the twist. Only a handful are known to exist. Collectors across the country have spent decades hunting for them, scouring their pocket change and coin rolls like treasure seekers searching for gold. And when one finally appears, it sends shockwaves through the coin community. In fact, verified 1992 D close AM penny has sold for nearly $20,000 in past auctions, but experts predict its future market value could skyrocket close to $1 million as rarity and demand collide. You might be wondering, why would anyone pay that much for a penny? Because rarity equals value. And in the world of numismatics, rarity combined with a mistake is the ultimate jackpot. Now, imagine being one of the few who actually own one. Imagine finding it yourself. But don't get too excited yet, because identifying it isn't as simple as flipping your coin over and shouting jackpot. There are fakes, there are close copies, and there are those subtle details only the trained eye can spot. Want to know what they are? We're getting to that in just a moment. Before we go deeper, let me ask you something. When was the last time you really looked at a penny? Most people treat it like pocket lint, something you toss in a cup holder or leave behind at the gas station counter. But what if your next ignored penny was worth a beach house in Florida? You'd start looking a little closer, wouldn't you? Now, here's what separates a $1 million 1992 D penny from a regular one. Flip the coin over and look at the word focus on the letters A and M. If there's a visible gap, it's the normal, common version. But if those two letters are so close they're almost touching, that's your potential gold mine. And if the penny also has a D mint mark just below the date, you're holding one of the rarest modern varieties in US coinage. To confirm authenticity, collectors usually send the coin to professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. These companies certify and encapsulate coins, giving them a grade and official verification. Because in this world, authentication is everything. A raw coin might sell for hundreds, but once it's graded and confirmed as a genuine 1992 D close AM, its value can multiply fast. And here's where the real excitement kicks in. Demand for rare pennies has exploded in recent years with online auctions, social media coin communities, and record-breaking prices. More Americans are realizing that old coins aren't just history, they're hidden wealth. Now that you know what to look for, here's the real challenge. Will you take action? Because right now, in pockets, jars, and old collections across the country, there are 1992 D close AM pennies just waiting to be discovered. They could be sitting in your home. They could be buried in your childhood piggy bank. They could even be in your wallet at this very moment. Imagine the regret of finding out years later that you once had one and spent it on a soda. That's the fear that drives collectors to check every coin, every time. Because opportunity doesn't announce itself. It hides in plain sight. And if you're serious about building wealth from what others overlook, this is your wake-up call. Start checking your pennies. Research, compare, learn what to spot. Because those who act now, those who look deeper, are the ones who find life-changing treasures. One viewer who watched a video just like this did exactly that. A week later, he found a rare close AM penny in a roll from his local bank. He sent it for grading and it came back genuine. That coin alone changed his financial story. Will yours be next? And hey, if you start staring at your change so long that the cashier gives you weird looks, just smile and tell them you're inspecting for $1 million mistakes. Because that's not just pocket change anymore, that's potential freedom. Before we wrap up, here's something most people don't know. There's also a 1992 no mint mark close AM variety from the Philadelphia Mint, even rarer than the Denver version. Could it be hiding next to your 1992 D? We'll explore that one in the next video. But for now, remember this, opportunity doesn't always come in gold or silver. Sometimes, it comes in coppered. So before you spend your next penny, take a closer look. Because your fortune might already be in your hands. If you found this story inspiring, hit that like button, share it with someone who collects coins, and subscribe for more rare coin discoveries that could change your life. Because in a world where people chase wealth, sometimes, it's the smallest things that hold the biggest value. Your journey to hidden fortune starts with a single penny. And who knows, maybe the next $1 million coin will have your name attached to it. Imagine this. You reach into your pocket, pull out a handful of coins, and sitting right there is a 2019 Lincoln penny worth more than your car, your house, maybe even your retirement savings. Sounds unbelievable, right? But what if I told you that one small, ordinary-looking 2019 Memorial Lincoln cent with no mint mark has shocked collectors and investors alike, with some selling for over $200,000, and experts estimating rare examples could exceed $1 million at auction? Hold on tight, because by the end of this video you'll know exactly what to look for, how to identify these rare treasures, and how you could turn a penny into a small fortune. But first, let's rewind. Because the story behind this penny isn't just about money. It's about luck, opportunity, and timing. Quick question. How many times have you ignored pennies lying on the sidewalk? Maybe you'll think twice after this. The 2019 Lincoln Memorial Cent was minted to honor one of America's most enduring symbols, the image of Abraham Lincoln, representing perseverance and integrity. But somewhere in that year's production, a handful of coins came out different. They carried subtle minting errors, double dies, or striking anomalies, features that ordinary eyes missed, but collectors obsessed over. And here's where things get fascinating. The no-mint mark versions, struck in Philadelphia, became the stars of the show. While millions were produced, only a few emerged with ultra-rare characteristics, pristine condition, doubled obverse lettering, and crisp detail that set them apart from the rest. Those few, they became the holy grail of modern coin collecting. Transition with intrigue. So how do you know if the penny in your drawer could be the next six-figure discovery? Let's find out. Before we dive into values, let's talk about why collectors go crazy for these coins. Every year, billions of Lincoln cents are struck. Most are common, forgettable. But when a tiny error slips through, a double die, a misaligned strike, a brilliant uncirculated condition, rarity meets demand. And rarity drives value. In 2019, a handful of these Lincoln Memorial no-mint mark pennies were found to display unique doubling in the date or the words "In God We Trust." Coin grading companies like PCGS and NGC quickly verified their authenticity, and the market exploded. .1 specimen in MS68 red grade, that's near flawless condition, fetched an astonishing $219,000. Think about that. A coin that cost 1 cent to make, sold for the price of a luxury home. Who needs the lottery when you've got a piggy bank, right? But this isn't just luck. It's about awareness. Thousands of these pennies change hands every day, unnoticed, sitting in drawers, jars, glove compartments, waiting for someone like you to discover them. And here's the kicker. Many of the most valuable coins ever found weren't discovered by experts. They were found by ordinary people, just like you. A retired postal worker, a single mom going through her change jar, a college student short on gas money. All became wealthy because they paid attention to what most people overlooked. That's where the story turns from curiosity to opportunity. The current market for rare Lincoln pennies is on fire. Collectors are paying record prices. Investors are diversifying portfolios with coins instead of crypto. And demand for high-grade, no-mint mark 2019 Lincoln Memorial cents has never been higher. But here's the fear factor. Every year that passes, the number of perfect condition coins shrinks. They get scratched, tarnished, or lost in circulation forever. That means your window of opportunity is closing fast. Right now, the average collector can sell a mid-grade 2019 no-mint mark penny for anywhere between $200 to $2,000, but high-end varieties with verified minting errors can skyrocket to $219,000 or more. And with coin auctions heating up across major platforms like Heritage and Stax Bowers, experts predict that the next flawless specimen could break the $1 million barrier. So, the real question is, have you checked your change today? Let's get practical. If you want to know whether your 2019 Lincoln Memorial penny is worth a fortune, here's what you do. Examine the coin under a magnifying glass. Look closely at the date and Lincoln's profile. Any doubling in the text or details could mean you've struck gold, figuratively, of course. Check the condition. The fewer scratches and marks, the better. Coins in mint state grades, MS65 and above, hold premium value. Get it authenticated. Send your coin to a reputable grading company like PCGS or NGC. Once certified, its market value can multiply instantly. Monitor auctions. Watch how similar coins perform on platforms like eBay or Heritage auctions. Timing your sale can make the difference between hundreds and hundreds of thousands. And here's a secret most collectors won't tell you. The coin market thrives on emotion. Stories sell. When you can connect your coin's story, the year, the design, the discovery, to a collector's passion, the value skyrockets even more. Think about this. The same penny millions of people pass around daily, dismissed, forgotten, can become a symbol of patience, knowledge, and vision. It's not just about a rare coin. It's about recognizing value where others see none. It's about believing that hidden treasures still exist in plain sight. And who knows, maybe this very week, you'll find your own piece of American history. A single copper-plated coin that could change everything. Because while most people will walk past their fortune without noticing, a few will stop, look closer, and realize that wealth doesn't always glitter. Sometimes it shines from a single, humble penny. Check your coin jars. Search your drawers. Look through your spare change. You might just be holding a 2019 no-mint Mark Lincoln Memorial penny worth 6 figures, maybe more. And if you want to learn how to identify, grade, and sell these valuable coins like a pro, make sure you subscribe, like, and turn on notifications so you never miss a life-changing discovery. Remember, fortune favors the curious. The next millionaire coin might already be in your pocket. This is more than just a story about money. It's a reminder that opportunity often hides in plain sight, so keep your eyes open, because the next time you see a penny, it might just be the one that changes your life.